Hi everyone, it's Lesley from Hungry Heffy Crafts, and today I have a cute shaker card. Well, how could it not be cute because of these adorable new stamps from Mama Elephant. These are the Unicorns and Rainbows, or Rainbows and Unicorns stamp set, and it has the most amazing and sweet little images in the set, and I thought that I would make a shaker card with these stamps today. So I've taken some dies and some of the stamps and I've laid them out on my craft table here, kind of to give me an idea of where I want to go with the card. It doesn't end up exactly like how I started it, but that's okay. I'm laying out my large stitched rectangles dies from Lawn Fawn, and I'm cutting out a frame using some watercolor cardstock. Then what I'm going to do is use the largest stitch rectangle in the small stitch rectangle set. And I'm going to line that up on top of what I've already cut. But instead of cutting this out, I'm going to use my embossing mat from Spellbinders to run that through the Cuttlebug. So now I've got this really cool embossed indentation of a frame within my frame. So I'm going to be inking these up today using my distress ink. So I'm putting a little bit of washi tape on the back just to hold it together in preparation for when I start inking. But before I do that, I'm going to stamp some of these images because I'm going to be using my watercolors with them today. And because of that, I'm stamping them onto my watercolor cardstock using Memento Tuxedo Black ink because I know it won't bleed whenever it comes to coloring these. These little clouds are from the Spring Showers collection from Lawn Fawn, and I cut them out using my Cuttlebug as well. I'm going to move over to creating my background, and I want some pastel colors, really soft muted colors. So I've picked out Squeezed Lemonade, Spun Sugar, which is the light pink color, and then Tumbled Glass for my blue. I'm using a really light hand when applying this ink, so it took me quite a long time to do this, so I've sped up the video. But by going lightly, I can build up the colors and still keep the colors quite muted and get that lovely soft pastel result. So I'm just going to finish this up. It's really hard to see in the video actually because of the light, but you'll see better in the photos at the end. So I'm going to set that to the side to dry whilst I colour in my stamped images. I'm going to be using my watercolours today. This is a palette that I used for some other projects, and I used it to mix some colours. And in actual fact, these images are so tiny, I can just pick up some of the paint from the palette using a damp brush. I'm not actually going to need to pull out my full set of watercolours or mix any more paint. You can see that I've stamped two of the same unicorn, and I'm painting them in exactly the same colours. And that's because I'm going to do a little bit of paper piercing with these with this unicorn. So let's give him a pink, or her a pink body, and a little bit of blush on the cheeks. And I'm doing some multicolours of the strands of hair and purple and blue wing. For the rainbow, I'm going to stick with my pastel colours, once again using whatever watercolour is on my palette here. And instead of red at the top, I'm going to use pink, just so it ties in with the colours. Now these stamps do have coordinating dies, but I don't have them unfortunately. So I'm just going to fussy cut around each of them, leaving a little bit of a white border. So for this one, I'm actually going to cut it right up to the edge because this is the one I'm going to do some paper piecing with. You can see that there is a leg in the front and then one at the back, and I'm actually only going to cut out the one in the front. I'm going to cut out its head and its wing, but I'm going to not cut out the tail and not cut out the the furthest back rear leg. So what happens is this will actually lie on top of the other one and give a little bit more dimension like this. Before I do that, I want to tidy up the edges. So I'm using my Memento Tuxedo Black marker to put some black ink all around the edges, and that gives it a nice finished look. Moving over to the greeting now. This is the cutest greeting in the stamp set, sending you wishes for a rainbows and unicorns kind of day. I think it's really sweet. Now I noticed that my inked images had the black outline, but then when I had the die cut clouds, they looked slightly different. So I just took a Copic multi-liner pen and drew some clouds within those die cuts just to kind of tie everything together. To add a little sparkle, I've mixed some water with some Perfect Pearls and splattered that over my background panel. And because it's water, it does pick up the ink and reactivate the ink a little bit, but it also leaves this really pretty shimmery shine. Hard to see in the video, but trust me, it's there. Okay, let's start assembling the card. I've put some adhesive in the middle. I lay down the frame to line it up perfectly and then stuck down that piece in the middle, so I know now it's exactly where I want it to be. It was about here that I realized I wanted it to be a shaker card, so I lined up the two dies again and stuck them together using some washi tape, and then ran it through the Cuttlebug again. But instead of cutting with paper, I cut out some funky foam or craft foam. So now I'm going to layer up 2 layers of that craft foam on my back, the panel or my card. And this will give us some nice dimension and lots of room for some shaker elements to go inside. I also need a piece of acetate that I cut out using the large stitch rectangle die. Stuck that onto the frame. So this is going to go in the inside, and I just trimmed it off a little so it overhangs the edge. And I wanted to get a good even coverage of glue, because if you don't, then some of the little sequin bits can get stuck behind or stuck on the edge of these little bits. So I'm covering them with my Tombow Mono multi liquid glue. And I'm also going to stick this top unicorn on top of the bottom one, but I'm not going to add any glue to the wing because I want to pull the wing up and have a little bit of dimension, and then it looks like you can see 2 of the wings. Pretty pretty. To eliminate some static, I'm running my powder tool on the back of the acetate and then adding some adhesive all the way around, ready to stick on top once I add my shaker material. I'm adding some of these little bits from Lucy's cards. And we've got a clear one and then a blue version as well. And I'm also adding some seed beads. Now I can stick my top frame and the acetate on top and put these other clouds and my other little embellishments on top of the acetate. So once again, I'm using my Tombow Mono liquid glue, and I'm going to stick down this cute little cake on a cloud just right here. And then for my unicorn, he's going to be jumping towards the cake. Cute. Now I'm going to put some acrylic blocks on the back and let that dry for just 5 or 10 minutes. But of course my little unicorn wouldn't be complete without a little sparkle. So I'm adding some sparkles with my clear glitter brush Wink of Stella marker. And there we go, that's it done. Thank you so much for joining me today. You'll see the colours better in the picture here. And I think it looks really cute. This is such a sweet, adorable stamp set. Thanks again. Please do give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and you can hop on over to Hungry Heffy Crafts for more of my crafty projects. Have a great day. Bye.